the Karachi curse, the NSK curse, and it continues as Lahore Qalandars defeated Quetta Gladiators by 9 wickets. I don't mean to kind of, trump my own horn here, but I am gonna, because I did kind of call it. My two friends did not call it. I am, of course, as always, joined by Anam Nadeem and Armaan Kirmani. आज दोनों ने बड़े प्यारे प्यारे चश्मे पहने हुए हैं. क्या चश्मे के पीछे क्या सोच है अरमान भाई? ये क्या हो रहा है?
यार देखो, जब आप just basically Anam got her predictions wrong for the last couple of days. She wore sunglasses. तो जब आप कोई चीज गलत करते हैं तो to be humble आपको थोड़ा सा अपना मुंह छुपाना चाहिए. तो क्योंकि कल uncharacteristically I got a prediction wrong, तो आज मैंने सोचा मैं आंख में आंख नहीं मिलाऊंगा. I'll let you have the day.
Very nice. चलो जी, ये कोई बात नहीं. मैं अपनी दाढ़ी भी उतार दूंगा दिखाने के लिए लोगों को. इतना बड़ा मेरा मुंह होना चाहिए. अच्छा, like I like your glasses. So does this mean you're shifting your allegiance from Quetta to just Pakistan generally?
नहीं, मेरा allegiance क्वेटा के साथ नहीं था. My allegiance
अनम की बात करो. अनम की.
Oh, sorry.
हाँ, मेरे पास कोई पर्पल ग्लासेस नहीं थे और मैंने कहा चलो फिर बाल भी छुपा लेती हूँ आज से, टोपी भी पहनूं और साथ में ग्लासेस जो सबसे करीब पड़ी थी वही लगा ली है. But I don't know. I need to like hide myself. A, Quetta हारी है, and B, Quetta is my team since season 1. तो उसका दुख थोड़ा ज़्यादा है. So I don't know, man.
Don't worry. One day you'll get a Sialkot team to cheer and make you happy. It's not a problem. So you had a very interesting match today. Lots to talk about. Lots of great performances. Anam, what was your moment of the match today?
Okay, मैं अभी वो वाला moment mention नहीं करूँगी because वो एक series of moment था जो हुआ. We can talk about that later. But my moment was when Haris Rauf was doing his post-match, mid-match innings में उसका interview हो रहा था. हसनैन पीछे आया. पहले हसनैन ने उसको जरा थोड़ा सा pep talk type करने की कोशिश की. And the moment Husnain pinched him, Haris Rauf lost his cool and he was this close of cursing him on camera. मतलब मुझे नहीं पता उसने कैसे रोका है. उसको कुछ ना कुछ बोल देता वो.
उसने कहा था. I'm sure he did curse. He just turned his face away. He said something like, I'm not going to obviously...
Yeah.
I'm sure it was really funny. You're like, right, to see him get frustrated. It was cool. You all get frustrated at times. And
हाँ, तो banter से एकदम से वो moment जो है ना वो change हो गया कि वो तेरी ऐसी की तैसी तू क्या कर रहा है यहाँ पे भाग.
Yeah, ऐसी की तैसी is a great phrase in Urdu. It's one of those things you can say instead of the other stuff. Acha, Armaan, what was your moment of the match?
यार सबसे पहली बात मेरी भी एक्चुअली इनफैक्ट यही मोमेंट थी. मैं कहने वाला था लेकिन मैं अभी दूसरी मोमेंट भी आपको बताऊंगा. लेकिन कोविड का जमाना है इसलिए वो थोड़ा अपसेट हो गया कि यार सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग रखनी चाहिए. पीछे से मैच चल रहा है, आप गुदगुदी कर रहे हैं बंदे की. मतलब ये तो गलत बात है ना. मतलब कि नहीं, actually our hero today, following on from the great standards that we set yesterday with Kharbuzas, today we actually had a genuine amazing hero, right? Pakistan statistician who is actually blind and has set records within Pakistan, and the struggles he's faced with his disability and turned it into a positive, and the mind that he's used to try and excel his love for cricket by becoming a statistician, and has been promoted and works with commentators and high-profile sort of radio coverage and even television coverage in Pakistan. I thought that was so inspirational and a great message to send out from Pakistan. So really, after yesterday's sort of dubious hero, today's was sensational.
No, absolutely. It was great. I think, that Hamare Hero segment is good. It's a good segment. I like it. I generally don't like the play being interrupted. But, I totally agree with you. It was really, really nice to see. Acha, some great moments in the day today. Loads to pick from. He untucked his shirt. It was very, very funny. Chris Gill doing his googly dance. That was very entertaining. I can't think of anybody who doesn't love Chris Gill. And if you don't, there's something wrong with you. But for me, it's a cricketing moment for me. It was a very simple one. It was that sixth Fakhar Zaman hit over mid-wicket. And you know why I love that shot? The defiance in it. Fakhar Zaman ne bahut suna hai Pakistani fans, because he hasn't played up to his potential. But Pakistani fans are so scathing. Oh, it's all khatam ho gaya hai. Isko ab to khelna nahi aata. Isko ab khilana nahi hai. Iska kya fayda? Flop hoga, woga. The defiance in that shot across the line, it was beautiful. And we'll talk a little bit more about Fakhar and Hafiz and other people in a minute. But I just really love to see. There's nothing that makes me happier than when a cricketer defies his critics. What do you think, Anam?
Absolutely. और I think फखर बहुत टाइम से हम देख रहे थे कि फखर जो है वो क्लिक नहीं कर पा रहा है. और किसी ने ट्वीट की हुई थी फनीली कि प्लीज कोई नो बॉल करवाए ताकि फखर किक स्टार्ट करे और he gets in the element in the groove. But absolutely, I think Fakhar ki innings was we saw it coming. Like we were talking off camera as well कि you predicted कि वो आज 100 मारेगा. So कहीं ना कहीं जितने भी fans थे उनको पता था कभी ना कभी तो फखर ने चलना है. It's not like कि वो खत्म हो गया हुआ है. वो एक उसका bad patch जो है वो बहुत continuously चलता आ रहा था. And I think he found the perfect excuse to kick off his campaign this year. And also for the fact that Pakistan team में opener की एक जारहाना जो कहते हैं जारहाना batsman की जरूरत है. So फखर is that player जो आपको वो एक kick start दे सकता है match के अंदर.
Absolutely. I mean, Armaan, I think initially me and Armaan are on WhatsApp a lot during the match, right? And we were talking about Sohail Akhtar, and I was getting a little bit frustrated. I like Sohail Akhtar actually. I'm a fan of his work, but I was getting frustrated with his strike rate. I thought he might put too much pressure on Fakhar Zaman, who's already been out of touch. But he worked on both sides. On one side, he had Sohail Akhtar, who was kind of creating pressure for him inadvertently, and then he had Hafiz, who was easing pressure. In both scenarios, he kind of excelled, Armaan.
I think Sohail Akhtar is a great player. I mean, I know that he's not the most exciting player, but he led Qalandars to the final after some disastrous seasons before. So that was really good. And I think the important thing that he does is, okay, he might not be somebody who blasts straight away. And I talked about this yesterday. He just takes the shine off the new ball a little bit, and that can make all the difference, especially when you have Pakistani conditions. And I think that helps. Hafiz comes at 4, right? Or 3.
Yep.
So that really does help because they can really attack if the ball is lost its lacquer. So I think that Sohail plays. Actually, he had a really good T10. His strike rate was 180. So it's not that he can't hit. It's a deliberate tactical choice that he goes in and gets his iron. And I really, really like that. And he might be an outside chance for the Pakistan squad. It's very unlikely, but he might be. And Fakhar, by the way, just to build on that, if you put Fakhar into our top 4 instead of Haider Ali, we're beasting. Just have a look at this. I mean, the Dehshat in our top 4 will be Rizwan, it will be Fakhar, it will be Babar, and then we'll have Hafiz. That is a mighty top 4 for T20, and I know people will be quaking when they see that lineup.
Absolutely. I mean, there is a lot of talent. This is the whole point of a tournament like the PSL. It shows you how much talent there is across Pakistan. You want to be a team like England where you have too many choices and it's a headache to choose your final 11. That's where you want to be. Acha, a word on Mohammad Hafiz. I mean, there's one thing that we really want to talk about in detail, and we'll talk about it in a second. I know, Anam, you're dying to talk about it, and we've had about 4 tweets about this, so we'll reference them all. But a word on Hafiz, just so consistent, so classy, and just unperturbed. That they did an interview with him in the strategic timeout. And, he was just combing his beard and he's casually discussing his position of the match. He makes a joke about golf. He goes back in, smashes the ball. Doesn't matter if it's full, short, on a good length, on a bad length, Yorker, full toss. He hits everything for 4 or 6. I mean, like, is he the best Pakistani T20 cricketer right now? He's got to be, right?
Absolutely. I mean, there's no shadow of a doubt. Hafiz 2.0 is like leaps and bounds ahead of every other player right now in the Pakistan setup. Like उसकी समझ से बाहर है कि ये जितना भी टर्न अराउंड हुआ कैसे है. गोल्फ खेल के हो गया, मतलब इतना आसान है तो सब लोग गोल्फ क्यों नहीं खेल रहे? सबको भाई.
I've played golf with Mohammad Hafiz, and I can tell you he's very good. Right, he's not as good as Waqar Younis, and actually he's probably better than Azhar Mahmood. He won't mind me saying. But he is very good. Like, he's really focused. He really enjoys the game, and he smashes that ball miles. That golf ball, for I'm sure like an amateur standard. But he's very, very good. Golf se impact hua hai, but it feels like a psychological twister, man. It's like he now believes that I am amongst the best players in the world. Maybe that's where some of that frustration pre-PSL came out.
I wasn't trying to interrupt Anam, by the way, but it wasn't Hafiz 2.0. I truly believe it's Hafiz 4.0, 5.0. The Banda did make his debut in 2003. It is almost 18 years of experience at international level and dealing with Pakistani politics as well. Let's not forget that. But I don't really put too much emphasis on golf or anything like that. I think Pakistan have this habit that when the chips are down and when you're reaching an age where you might not have a comeback, then it's last chance saloon. And Pakistan have, had a history of players that when they're on the verge of being dropped, somehow come back. We just saw Fawad Alam do sensational things, and he was under pressure. Ijaz Ahmed historically has always done that when he had one-day internationals, and he would be on the verge of being dropped, and then he'd play India and score like a massive ton, a daddy 100, which was always special. It's happened a lot. Zaman famously did it against Bangladesh and then became Test captain. So this thing is a cultural problem that we have to sort of solve, which is if you just allow your players to feel a little bit more stable, it might not take them 18 years, to actually perform. When you always pick and drop players on the basis of 1 or 2 bad series, then you do get this volatility and fluctuation. So Hafiz, I think, is just benefiting from the fact that his place in the team is not under doubt and he can freely play and hit sixes at will now.
It depends on which franchise league wants his attention at the time. But don't worry, we're not going to get into that today. Listen, we've had a bunch of tweets about this, right? So this is what we're going to talk about, right? A. Ali, thank you for your tweet. He tweeted and said, I thought watching Sarfraz's captaincy was embarrassing today, particularly when shouting at the youngsters. Sometimes you got to stay calm during the game as everyone is looking towards the captain for guidance. And Salman Ashraf also wants to ask about Sarfraz's meltdown. Imran Ali also said, what was with Sarfraz's behavior? There's a couple more. I'm sorry if I missed your tweet, but I mean, it was a little bit unbecoming. Anam, what did you make of the meltdown that Sarfraz was having as the match went on?
Pehla to Hafiz is the reason for the meltdown kahin na kahin, because almost everybody knows the reason behind it. वो Twitter पे जो थोड़ा सा spat हुआ था दोनों का. And funnily, Ramiz Raja ने Urdu commentary में आज बोला है. I don't know if you guys get to hear the Urdu commentary as well वहाँ पे. Ramiz ने बोला है कि Hafiz and Sarfraz are the best of Twitter friends, like sarcasm में, ठीक है? तो everybody knows what was going on, and I think Sarfraz के दिमाग में ये बात इतनी ज्यादा घूम रही थी कि हफीज से फेंटी पड़ रही है, तो अब उसकी फ्रस्ट्रेशन और की निकाल नहीं सकता था. मुझे तो था कि खुद बॉलिंग करा लो भाई, आके 1-on-1 कर लो उसके साथ, जो भी तुम्हारा मसला है. अगर शनवारी अच्छा नहीं कर रहा, ठीक है, शनवारी के अपने मसले मसाइल हैं, नो बॉल्स कराता है, छक्के खाता है, बट आप एज अ कैप्टन क्या मैसेज दे रहे हो? यू नीड टू बी काम. ठीक है यार, उसने गलती कर दी है, उसको जाके जस्ट पैट हिम ऑन द शोल्डर, उसको बोलो कि भाई काम डाउन, इट्स ओके, छक्का ही खाया, इट्स नॉट द एंड ऑफ द वर्ल्ड, यू कैन मेक अ कमबैक. बट व्हेन द कैप्टन इज शाउटिंग फ्रैंटिकली एट हिज प्लेयर्स, और वो भी सबके सामने इतना एम्बैरेसिंगली, कमेंट्री में भी सब लोग बोल रहे हैं, इट डजंट गो डाउन वेल विद एनीबॉडी. एंड व्हेन यू गो बैक टू द ड्रेसिंग रूम, आई डोंट नो कि सब लोग कैसे इसको लेंगे, कैसे अच्छा, आई डोंट नो.
I know, I'm with you. I'm like, there was a sequence, Armaan, where I think Shinwari had a long chat with Ben Cutting, and Ben Cutting was guiding him. He was like, look, maybe this is what you need to do, and this is what you need to do. He shakes his head, he agrees. He bowls, he gets hit for 4. He bowls another one, he gets hit for another 4. And then it was the timeout time. It was 13 overs gone. And Sarfraz goes to him, idhar aa mere paas, idhar aao. And then he said, ab mujhe ye batao. And that's when the camera cut away. So you didn't get to hear the rest of the rant. It's not the best way. You captain a cricket team, a weekend cricket team in England. That's not the way you talk to your players, surely.
I've got a couple of things to say on this. I mean, it wasn't a great PR for Sarfraz today. When you behave like that and then you end up on the losing side, it doesn't really work. If Quetta had won today, the narrative might have been slightly different. It might have been a positive side of his leadership, that he was always on top of his bowlers, and he got them and got results out of them. So sometimes we are a little bit results orientated. I just want to say something on his behalf as well. Sarfraz is a World Cup winning captain for Pakistan at under 19 levels. He's won the ICC Champions Trophy both times against India in the final. Because he's not Flavor of the Month, Rizwan has superseded him. There is this public perception where we love, especially with social media, to be like, to destroy his career and almost not acknowledge the success that he's, and the hard work and the given to Pakistan, right? And I think that's a little bit unfair. Whether it's his players or not, if he is shouting, especially in a culture like Pakistan, you should take that in your stride and listen to somebody who is very experienced and a proven winner. That's the first thing I want to say in his defense. On the other side, I definitely agree that, if you are in such a high-profile scenario with international distribution and you're shouting and screaming, especially for young, impressionable young players, it destroys their confidence. And they were well ahead in the game at the time he started losing his rag. That's the key thing. ये नहीं कि match हार रहे थे. ये जो चिल्लाना इसने शुरू किया, it was at a time when Gladiators were far, far ahead. So उस time पे आपको, it felt like a watershed moment, that the pressure of Rizwan's performance, him being dropped, the Twitter spat with Hafiz, you can see he's having a personal meltdown. So I think that's evident.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I follow you. I follow your train of thought. There is a lot of pressure there. I mean, we've seen captains carry that pressure better. It's not a character assassination. It's a critique of what he was, of his behavior today, and an encouragement of getting better. We know Sarfraz, either he's borderline a national hero in Pakistan. He's done great things for Pakistani cricket in a leadership position, but when your body language, like there was a moment towards the end of the game where, as you say, Armaan, the game was still very much in the balance. I don't care what Win Predictor says, by the way. Win Predictor had Lahore winning the game after 12 overs with a run rate required of 11 plus and over, right? Okay, they won the game, fine. But, it wasn't as cut and dry as Win Predictor makes it. I hate Win Predictor. I'll tell you all about Win Predictor another time. But yeah, I think, as an experienced player like that, you expect a little bit better. We've seen aggressive captains. We've seen people like Shahid Afridi, and he's not shy of like telling people off, but he's got a way about doing it where he doesn't make you feel small, लेकिन चलो कोई बात नहीं, देखी जाएगी आगे बात. अच्छा, listen,
just on that, was Imran Khan a very polite captain?
Well, on camera, he didn't. I never saw him do that.
Well, you probably weren't born in the 70s and 80s, but I'm just saying, strong leadership. Sometimes you have to make big calls and you have to be aggressive. Depends on the person. So I'm going to back.
Totally, no, it's fine. I'm not backing him. I just think there's a sense of decorum and there's a way to do things, and it was maybe what he was doing today was counterproductive, and the result reflects that. अच्छा, result से याद आया, ठीक है, जनाब, अब मैच खत्म हो गया, आप ऐनक उतार सकते हैं, कोई बात नहीं, मेरी आंखों में देखो, ठीक है, और आंखों में देख के सोच समझ के बताओ कि कल का मैच कौन जीतेगा, कौन सी team कल successful होगी. And just before I remind you what tomorrow's game is, I will remind everybody watching to please, subscribe and share and do all the things that you're supposed to do on social media. It's always nice to have the support. And thank you to everybody that sent in tweets and comments. I didn't make as much time as I should have today, but I will tomorrow to get in everybody's thoughts and comments. Acha, tomorrow it's Multan Sultans versus Peshawar Zalmi. Okay, I've got a 100% record, by the way, with predictions so far. So I'm gonna go last. Anam, you've got to get one right at some point. Kal kaun jeet raha hai, Multan ya Peshawar?
Multan Sultans.
Armaan.
There's no way anyone can pick Zalmi, right? There's just no way. So it has to be Multan. And I know Multan will win, but just to make it interesting, because I know you're going to pick Multan, I'm going to say Zalmi, just so tomorrow we can have some banter. Like, if you end up going for Zalmi, I'll go back to Multan, okay? Because I know Multan will win.
No, I think I would back Multan on the basis of their performance in the first game. I thought they were very strong.
Zalmi then. For me, Zalmi.
ठीक है जी, दोनों आपने मैं और अनम उसको back
Multan. Yeah.
Backing Zalmi. This is good. It's going to be interesting. We're very excited about tomorrow. Oh, sorry. One thing we have to mention is how good was that googly from Zahid Mahmood? That should have been my moment of the day. I adore Zahid Mahmood and his story. That ball just, the way it just came back. Oh, it was beautiful.
It was a proper hi ball. मतलब वो उस पे ये reactions निकलते हैं hi.
Yeah, exactly. It was beautiful. It was such a good delivery. I'm so glad I remembered it just before we finish. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Guys, remember to tune in tomorrow, and we'll have more thoughts and more opinions, and we'll try and reflect some of what you have to say. Enjoy kare, hush re, and tomorrow we'll be back with more post-match chat.